Alright guys, I'm going to show you a very important part of programming now. It's I want to introduce to you is variables. Variables. So what a variable is basically it's you allocate a piece of computer memory in your program where you can store values and information in. So it's very useful. It's basically just blocks of computer memory where you can hold values. So, for example, if you had an integer variable, you can hold integers in it. It's an integer variable is a block of computer memory that allows you to hold integers, basically. Um, it is a hard thing to grasp at first, but again, like everything with programming, with practice, you'll cap onto it. So I'll just show you what an integer variable is. And for an integer variable, you don't say integer. That would get. So instead of writing the full integer word when you're making this variable, all you gotta do is put the first three letters, int. And as you can see, this is a Java keyword, so it's highlighted in blue. So int. So whenever you want to make a block of computer memory that will hold your integer values, to make that you just say int, and then the last step is just to name your variable. You just gotta name your variable, because if you had 7 int variables and you didn't know how to tell them apart, then it's kind of useless. So basically, you gotta name your variable. You can name it whatever you want as long as it doesn't start with a capital letter or some weird character like a percent sign or something. So just keep it with a lowercase letter like G or anything, any letter in the alphabet. Once it's lowercase, just keep it like that. That's usually the norm. So int, you can call it whatever you want. I want to call it int number. Okay, number. So now, and then of course I gotta put the semicolon. So this is the statement finished. So the computer says int. Okay, we're making an int, and it's called number. And then that's it. Move on to the next line. So I've now allocated a block of memory to hold integer values, and to remember which integer is which, this one is called number. That's why I named it. So number. Okay. And I'm going to make another one called int c int finger. Don't ask why, it's just getting in my head. So int number and int finger. So now I have two blocks of memory, and I can hold integer values in there. Now, at the moment, these variables are empty. The blocks of memory are empty because I haven't put any values in there. To do that, okay, you have to come down here. So say I want to put a value into the variable number. Of course, it has to be an int, which is an integer, which is a whole number, so it can't have a decimal point or anything like that. Okay, so say I want to put the number 4. I want the number 4. I want to use the number 4 in my program. Okay, so I got to put that in an integer. Oh, sorry, I got to put that into a variable and an int variable. Okay, so I want to use the number 4, so I want to put it in a variable, and I'm going to pick number. I'm going to put it in there. So what I do is I type number, and then to assign 4 to this variable, to place 4 into this memory block, I use what's called the assignment operator. Now the assignment operator is just a simple equal sign. That's all the assignment operator is, just a simple equal sign. And then I go 4 and then semicolon, and now the integer number is holding the value 4. So now I have the value 4 saved in my program, and I can use that throughout my program. So that's the basic reason for variables, just to hold values for you so you can use them later on in your program. There's different, see this int, this is called the data type. The data type because it defines the type of data the variable will hold. So say I wanted to put a character, like I don't know, like a plus sign in here. I wouldn't be able to put that into an int variable because it can only hold integer values. So there's different data types. I'm going to just show you a list of them now. So this is a list of some Java data types for variables. You can see in the left column here we have some data types. Okay, so first here we have byte, which is these 3 here. Okay, they are the same as int. They're all the same, just byte holds very small integers, short holds small integers but a bit bigger than byte, and int holds int holds big integers much bigger than these two here. Okay, and then long holds bigger integers than int. Okay, so that's, if you want to hold an integer, that's fine, yeah. But what if you have a decimal number, you know, a real number, a decimal number? What data type do you use then? Well, you use float. Well, you don't actually use float, to be honest with you. You use double. Float is just the same here. You have int and then you have short, whereas int is just a bigger version of this. So we wouldn't really use this anymore because computer memory is so advanced that we can handle, you know, because this uses a bigger amount. This, okay, I'll stay on that. Double uses a bigger amount of computer memory than float, but because of the advancements in computer memory, we wouldn't really worry about how much memory we are using double variables. So don't worry about float and don't worry about these two. Just use int and double. Use int if you want an integer, double if you want a decimal number, and you should be fine. If you want a character, use char. Okay, and see boolean here, and just ignore this for the time being. I'll explain this later on. You won't really be using this, not for the moment at least anyway. Just ignore this one for the moment. Just be aware it exists. It only has true or false values. That's what a boolean is. A boolean question is a question with only an answer of true or false. So basically, right, be aware that all these exist, but all you need to know is int. If you want to make a variable that will hold integer values, you need to be an int variable. If you have decimal values, you need double, and if it's a character value, you need char. So for the moment anyway, and for a good while, this one, and this one, int, double, and char are the only variables you need to be focusing on. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to variables. As you see, we now know a few different types, but the types that we'll be using will be the int and the double, and also char. Okay, so basically, if you want to make a variable, you gotta have to make a variable, you have to have the data type, the name of your variable, and then you can store values in your variable using the assignment operator. Okay, so take that in. When you know this, move on to the next tutorial. Thanks for listening.